After a while, I've been like a month and a half off. I've decided to rebrand the Sports and Stuff podcast to Off the Court. And I have a great guest, one of my favorite players ever to be in Arizona basketball. As my first one as the Off the Court podcast, I got Dewayne Russell. He is playing in Germany right now for, is it Oldenburg? Is that how you say it? Oldenburg?
Yeah,
Okay. EWE Baskets Oldenburg. They play in the Bundesliga of the German Pro Basketball League. Appreciate you coming on, man, and being my first guest. How you been?
man, I've been good, man. I appreciate you having me for real.
Yeah, well, I've been paying attention to you for, like I told you before we just recorded. Been paying attention to you since I was like had to be 16 whenever you first started at GCU. But I want to start for you when you were about that age. You played extremely well. You played 4 years of varsity at Peoria High School out here in Arizona. Averaged 21 points a game, 5.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, 3 steals in 106 games. You were getting recruited by schools like Colorado, St. Mary's, NAU. You decided to commit to. What went into your decision about being a lumberjack? Was it to stay home close to family, or what was kind of the leading drive of why you wanted to be in a lumberjack uniform for your first couple of years in college?
Well, originally I had my senior year I committed to USC coming out. And then some things happened. The coach ended up getting fired or was getting ready to get fired. So I ended up going to Northern Arizona. And the most important thing for me was just trying to stay close to my family. You
Mm.
know, me and my grandma, my uncle, they were living in Phoenix, and we had a really, really close relationship. And I wanted them to be able to watch me play as much as possible. So being able to go 2 hours, just drive 2 hours up the road and being able to watch me play was like meant the world to me. So that probably was the leading factor of me going to like committing to Northern.
Was there a leading factor in, like, because I'm sure the NAU of then is not the NAU now of like
Right.
that state of the art facility. Was there anything that stuck out to you after you decommitted to USC about, maybe promised playing time? Of course, staying home was the main factor, but was there anything else about you development wise and becoming a better player wise that made NAU stick out instead of the other schools that were recruiting you?
I think the most important thing was just the playing time, and because I always been a guy that's been I learned better through experience,
Mm,
and I know a lot of people like, especially now you see the new age like to get a trainer and stuff like that. But I always been a guy that wants to play.
yeah.
So Northern they kind of like gave me opportunity to go out there and just play and kind of do trial and error, which ultimately like helped me. And with my game, I was able to go somewhere where I was in my freshman year, coming in straight out of high school, and I'm playing 20 minutes a night, 30 minutes a night. I'm playing against some of the best players in Big Sky at that time. It helped me become a better player. So that was like the main thing was like, I knew like, okay, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna play.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you real quick about your high school too. 4 years of varsity, you had 2,225 points altogether. You've been a flat out scorer, it seems like your entire life. I watched a ton of tape from this past season too. What have you seen that maybe stuck with you in high school that has helped you along the way to your professional career now, especially playing overseas?
The work, I think that's been the biggest thing. I think that's the most consistent thing that's been about me. Like I don't play around when it comes to me going there and getting the reps up. And like I know a lot of people who try to like, go through all these things of how they're gonna score better, looking at it. And like the thing that's helped me the most is just being in the gym. I play one on one all day. I got a little brother that's hoops. Me and him play one on. We'll work out, play one on one all day. And just by doing stuff like that, naturally I became more of a scorer. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
just now, like playing against somebody, not just going through the reps of just like nobody guarding me and me just working out. Like me actually like getting out there playing against somebody has been, I think, the biggest thing for me. It would help me like being able to score.
Your brother's Fats, Russell, right? Okay, I knew him because of his days at Rhode Island, and then I know he went to the year at Maryland. I'm sure the one-on-one matches with you guys growing up got pretty brutal at times.
Hey, it's funny you say that, bro. We like probably the last I would say 2, 3 years, we've been able to play one on one without fighting each other. And this is the first. This is like, it's been actually good because like before growing up, we'll play one-on-one. We probably play for 30, 45 minutes. And then it's a fight breaks out, or I'm fighting. And he don't want to, and then, or we don't want to, the other person, whoever lost, doesn't want to leave the gym, want to play again, play again, play again. So then it's been
I know he's playing over
weird.
in Europe too.
Yeah,
Um, he's in Turkey.
right.
Is there any hope in the future that you two could possibly team up? Not saying I'm not going to try to get you out of your contract with the team you're on, but I'm sure that would be awesome for your family too to see you guys team up together again. But is there any hope in the future for that?
Absolutely not. He shoot the ball too much. Like me and him not work well together. No, I'm just playing. I hope so. That would be like a dream come true. Like you get to play, say you played a professional game with your little brother. Like it's not too many people that can say they did that. So if that opportunity ever presented itself, I would love to do it.
You then decided to transfer over to GCU with NAU. I got a quote up here from CBS Sports when it happened. Your last season at NAU, you averaged 14 and a half points a game, around 3 assists. Dan, it seemed like recruited you pretty hard from the jump to get you down to the Phoenix area. Hold on, where is it? Here it is. How much did he play a part in your decision to become a Lope and transfer down from Northern Arizona to being in the Phoenix area?
It played a huge part. I think first of all, understanding like Coach Marley, but then it was a dynamic of knowing who Jerry Colangelo was, and also President Mueller too. Like, you know, when I came to like take my visit and I talked to those guys and they told me like, you know, this is a place that you're gonna be able to call home for the rest of your life. And it was the truth. Like I'm sitting in GCU's practice facility right now doing
Yeah.
this interview. And like this is a place that where like they weren't lying to me when they said, you know, once you sign this dotted line for your NIL, or well not NIL, what was it called? Your whatever the
National
signing,
letter of intent.
it was for life. And like I really feel that way. I've been able to be here, work out after and stuff like that. Like come back in the summer, I'm always working out, and the new coaching staff like welcome me with open arms. So it's like all those factors that I didn't really think about back then. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go play for Dan Majerle. It's super cool. But it was the other stuff that they said to me that made it so attractive. And now those things are coming true. So like this is a special place.
Before we get into some of your most famous moments at GCU, what went into you deciding to leave NAU? Not just to go to GCU, but to open your recruitment again. Was it just you felt the competitiveness in the Big Sky was maybe not up to your par? Was it you wanted more exposure to hopefully get to the league one day? What was kind of your thoughts and when wanting to leave NAU and transfer out?
So to be honest, I was immature. And I didn't handle the NAU situation the way I probably should have handled it. Now that I'm looking back on it, me and the coach were butting heads a lot. I think I don't know. I felt like it was Jack Murphy at the time. He was pushing me, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand what he was trying to do. So
Mm.
like I went like a lot of like growing up in that process of being at NAU, and that's the real reason why I ended up like leaving. It was like immaturity, not understanding that he was trying to push me, and then I'm thinking like I just got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up going to GCU, and they did the same thing. It was crazy. They was pushing me the same way. I was just able to accept it more. I was able to understand, like, you know what I'm saying, like who I was as a player. I was just a little older. So that's the real reason why I left NAU.
What were some of the things, I guess, the life lessons you learned at GCU? Like being under Coach Marley, like at least when I was like growing up and listening to the stories that were coming out on GCU, he was a tough coach to play for. He demanded a lot. Um, what were some of the hardest moments of your 2, 3 years at GCU, and what were kind of some things you took away from it?
I think one of the hardest things was when I got there, he changed my jump shot, like from the jump. So like, well, completely like I couldn't shoot for a little while. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning. I'm like relearning how to shoot the ball again. Um, and I like, and now it was like now that I'm like a pro and I understand, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like he changed my jump shot. He changed my diet. He changed everything. And he was so hard on me. It was like really, really hard. Like people say, it was hard to play for him. But now I feel like I'm prepared to play for anybody, any coach, anywhere. because of the
Mm.
way that he instilled in me. And yeah, it was like it was like really the best decision I ever made was to come play for him.
I watched yesterday the tape of you dropping 42 on Louisville. Um, Rick Pitino, I listened to the interview of Pitino too. He said, and I think I don't want to unquote him, but pretty much said that was one of the toughest environments he's ever had to coach in
Yeah.
because the crowd was so loud. Also on that team was Donovan Mitchell. I don't remember if anybody else NBA wise is on there, but I know he was there. Um, Before we get into that game specifically, what was the vibe around campus? And kind of just give me the all around feelings of leading up to that because that was probably one of the biggest games in the school's history. So just take me through some of the things you might remember from that day.
Yeah, I remember, like you said, obviously we were like new to Division 1 at that time. So the Louisville game, like around campus, it was just like hype. You see all these posters everywhere. Everybody's talking about the game leading up to it. And I just remember like I was locked in for that game, probably a game before they like we knew that game was coming. And we had a game before that game. And it was like, yeah, whatever. Like next game is the game that we wanna make a mark in. And yeah, it was just like super anticipation for it. Everybody was hype about it. And for me, it was my last year and I wanted to show that I was one of the better players in the country at that point. So I'm like, this is the game. I'm not going to do it against Chicago State. I'm not going to, if I go score 40, but if I go, you know what I'm saying? I go against these dudes who are going to be pros. Some of them was on the draft boards. I'm like, nah, this is the game that I need to like, show that I'm a player. And that was my whole mindset leading into that game. Like it was just like, this is what you've been waiting for, basically.
So you averaged 22 a game that season. You dropped 42 that game. There's a lot of moments I can go to. The quickness that you had, you still have that step back that I watched like a ton of tape this year. It seemed like your step back was your favorite move. But it was a little hesitations you do, but dropping 42 that game, you kind of talked about you were just in kill mode that time. But what was your mentality when you stepped onto the court, being able to drop, 42 in a game, especially against guys like Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, my mindset that game was like I told my mom before the game. I said, "Mom, I'm either gonna play really, really good. Or I'm gonna play really, really bad." I was like, I'm
No in
not
between.
going into this game. No in between. Like I'm not going into this game to have 17 points and 5 assists and we lose by 10. Like I'm going for the kill. So that was my entire mindset. Was like, this is the game I'm waiting for. I want to upset them on this court and watch these fans go crazy. And like I said, like, it was like one of those games. Like it was no in between with me. My mindset was clear. And then what actually helped me the most was Coach Marley. Like he was on the same wavelength with me the whole time. Like, Dewayne, go, go, go. Don't stop. Don't get tired. Like, I'm not taking you out of the game. Go. Like, he gave me that extra push. And that's coming from your head coach. So like when your head
Mm-hmm.
coach believes that way, yeah, people are talented, people are good. But the most important things is like the confidence and the mindset. So my mindset was just like going straight. Everything was going to go straight forward. I would have missed that game. I could have went 0 for 35. But my mindset was on that wave. Like, okay, no, I'm going this way. We're going straight forward. We're going at whoever's in front of me. I'm going at them. I'm gonna test the limits. So like that, like luckily it worked out. I ended up playing well, but that could have went another way too. And I was prepared for it to go bad. Like I already made my mind up. Like I'm going to play really, really good. I'm going to play really, really bad.
Besides that game, what were some of your favorite memories coming from GCU? I know the Midnight Madness at GCU is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. I need to go to it this year,
Got
but
to. Like I advise every like person who lives in Phoenix, you have to come to a Midnight Mass because we have the best one. Like it's nothing like it. Yeah.
My girlfriend lives on campus and goes to GCU now, so I think I'm definitely going to try and make it out for that one. But um, what were some of your favorite memories of playing in Phoenix for Coach Marley and being a part of GCU?
It's a good question. I think that honestly, it was just like the camaraderie I had with some of the my teammates. Like it was the stuff that you wouldn't think that it's the stuff of us eating at Chick-fil-A on campus. It's the stuff of us being in the hotels and stuff like that. Those are the things that like um that I really remember. And those are things that I really like cherish. And like I be telling some of the guys that's downstairs right now, I'm like, yo, you don't realize how much fun you having. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not about stuff that's on the court, it's all the stuff off the floor. Because these are those people that you're around at that time are gonna be friends that you're gonna have forever. Like I talk to my team, the teammates that I still talk to them to this day. So it's like those were the things, like the connections that I made, being able to meet Jerry Colangelo, being able to have a relationship with Mr. Mueller, and then of course my relationship with Coach Marley. And then the funny part, the coolest relationship I have out of all of them was my assistant coach was TJ Benson. Like me and
Mm.
him are like me and him are like that's big bro to me, like for real. Like I was just in Vegas with him, like that's like big bro. So like the connections that you meet with people was the best part about all everything that happened.
TJ's at U of A now, yeah?
Yeah, he's at U of A.
Okay, yeah, because I know he was in Gonzaga,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
That's what Casey told me. And then when
yeah,
the
yeah.
assistant from Gonzaga went down to
Exactly.
Arizona, I heard he was like, "You're coming with me, and I'm not letting you go."
It's funny though, because like TJ's that type of guy. Like when you get him on your team, that's somebody you want to keep with you. Like TJ's gonna
Mm.
be he's gonna be a big time coach one day. He'll be a head coach one day of a college. Like TJ's really, really good at what he does. And like he's also a reason how I've been able to make the jump. I think I was only averaging like like 14. Um and then that last year at GCU, I jumped to 22. Before that entire summer, TJ was the guy that worked me out, that got me right. And yeah, I mean, I love the dude for real.
Let's get into your pro career. You declared for the 2017 draft. Unfortunately, went undrafted. You then decided to start your pro
Mm-hmm.
career in France. Um, is it
Mm-hmm.
Nancy or
Yeah,
Nancy? Okay. Sometimes French stuff, they say stuff completely weird, so
yeah. They said
I just wanted to make
nah,
sure.
I get you.
Um, Talk to me
Right.
though through what was going through your mind, being undrafted to then leaving a place like Arizona that you've pretty much spent your entire life in to move halfway across the world to pursue your dream of professional basketball.
It was it really like it was just about how much I really loved the game. And I think that like that was like the most important thing. I didn't really care where I went in the world. As long as I had the game with me, I was gonna go. And that's been like the biggest thing for me is like through this process of like traveling all over the world, it's been like how much I really love the game of basketball. Like of course it's always everybody's dream is to go to the NBA, but it doesn't work for everybody. So like being able to play the game and go play professionally somewhere was like a something that I like really cherish. So like I didn't care where it was at, I was going. And that was the biggest thing for me. It was like I was like, yo, I really love this game because I'm leaving my family behind. I'm leaving
Mm-hmm.
friends behind to really chase this dream. So it was cool.
How hard was it for you to leave Arizona to especially move to France? Completely different continent, different
It,
language, pretty much different world, it seems like over there. But how hard was it for you to leave, your family and friends behind to go and do that?
it was really hard, especially Phoenix. Like I played 4 years. I like most people go to college and they go away. Like I
Mm-hmm.
stayed, so it was real hard for me. And luckily I had FaceTime and all that stuff like that. But it still was hard. I was lucky. My wife decided to come with me, and that made it easier. But it was really hard on both of us because she was leaving her family behind too. So
Right.
like I said, it just shows how much like I really love this. Like I knew like at that point, I'm like, man, I really love this. Like, because I'm leaving my like people that I been around my entire life.
So like you're saying, it's taken you all over the world, played in France, Germany, Italy, before this past season, and then you went back to Germany. Um, what has been the hardest part about being a professional basketball player for you?
Um, it's a couple of things. Like for one, feeling like you're one leaving your family behind, missing everybody. That's always hard. And then also too the competitive part of like you try not to compare yourself to other people, but then you see people going and signing places that you think you're better than, and that
Mm.
happens. That's the natural thing for a human to try to compare. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do is just not to compare, to run your own lane and, stay in your own pace. Like whatever God got for you is what he got for you. So I think that's one of the hardest things about being a professional is seeing like other people that you feel that you're better than, maybe getting better offers or getting better opportunities than you. So like sometimes that's like one of the hardest things is like being able to just like, no, I'm gonna just stay in my lane, stay in my race. One day I'll get where I'm gonna go where God wants me to go.
So you are one of the most skilled players in Germany now. You were the German Bundesliga top scorer. You were the assist leader as well, and you made the all German Bundesliga first team. What are the differences, or I guess, what is some advice you would give to kids? Like I'm sure you've seen it now, especially being in Phoenix. The amount of talent that is coming, not just from the country, or not just from Arizona, but around the country, it's
Yeah.
absolutely insane. In my opinion, it's never been this deep in a very long time. What is some advice to kids though that could be listening to this that are wanting to be a pro basketball player, make it to the league, go to college? That some things that you've taken away in your life, going from college, thinking, you might have a chance to make the G League NBA, and then being in Europe too, which is also one of the toughest things to do. But what are some advice you would give to kids about possibly keeping their head up and just keeping their mind open to more than just making the NBA?
Yeah, I think like you said, keeping your mind open to more than just the NBA. Because ultimately, we all want to make the NBA. That's the ultimate goal for any kid.
Of course.
But yeah, but like sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But like, do you really love the game of basketball? Not just the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
if you love basketball, you're gonna find it's other ways and other places for you to play. And ultimately, I think the biggest thing is like trying to get better at your craft. Like I look at basketball more than just a one league, and the NBA is one league. But I love the actual crap. I love the actual like the X's and O's, everything about the game. So like some people say, yeah, I want to make the NBA, but do you love the game? You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like it's
mm.
different. When you love the game, you'll go anywhere and play. So um, yeah, I think that would be my advice to the kids that like, yeah, you want to make the NBA, but like ultimately it should be about you perfecting your craft and being the best player you can be. If you're good enough, the NBA will be there. If it's not, then it'll be other opportunities for you. But like really just trying to become a better player, I think is like the most important thing.
Can you tell in a kid pretty much quickly if he's loves the game or he's just doing it to get, you know, to the NBA, if you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you could tell. You could tell. Like you can see it because it's some guys that like, oh, I work out because they tell me I need to work out because I'm trying to make the NBA. And then you got the guys that you got to kick out of the gym. That's
Mm-hmm.
all finding a way to be in the gym, always finding a way to watch some type of basketball. Those are the kids that like really love the game. And a lot of times those are the kids that actually end up making the NBA.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have the body for the NBA. I'm not long. I'm not 6'9" with a wingspan or anything like that. Or I believe that if I was, I would be in the NBA. But like when you got those guys that like, okay, they have the body and then they love it, that's how you end up having a LeBron James or Kevin Durant. You have those guys, those dudes, like they love the game. You gotta kick them out of the gym. You gotta stop them from watching basketball. Like those type of dudes, those are the ones, and you can you see it right away.
Mm-hmm. KD's my perfect example because even in
Yeah,
the offseason, I saw him out in Monaco watching Mike James play for the French league. It's just like he is
right.
and I think Book has progressively throughout the years, especially getting away from that Kardashian family. He's been he's been an absolute basketball junkie, it seems though. But speaking of Europe though, we've seen a lot of these European stars in recent about the last year or so. I know Wemby said it at Summer League. Lucas said it on JJ Redick's podcast. They talked about how much harder it is to score in Europe than it is the NBA.
Mhm.
Having you played in college in the US, but played professionally and overseas, what are the biggest differences you've seen in play styles, in players and development, come from the US and compare it to the European stage?
I think the European stage, you start to see that in Europe, the kids become professional basketball players at like 15, 14.
Mm-hmm.
So with like when like we go to school, they're waking up already playing basketball. That as like it's their job truly at like 14 years old. So like they are kind of having an advantage a little bit over us because like we spend 8 hours at school. They
Right.
didn't spent 4 hours, then went home, took a nap, then came back and spent another 2 hours in the gym. So they're what I'm saying? We kind of get it late. And then like when it comes to like scoring, I think that the floor is a lot smaller in Europe. Like, the floor is like how it is in college. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no defensive, so everybody's just in the lane. So like being able to make passes through those windows, being able to score when everybody's sitting in the lane is tougher. Then you get to the NBA, the court's bigger.
Mm-hmm.
It's no, it's defensive 3 6. They can't stay in the lane. So then now you make one move, you get to the rim, nobody's there. Now you're able to be athletic and stuff like that. So I think that's a lot of times why like a lot of the guys say that it's tougher to score in Europe than it is in the NBA because it's a completely different game and it's more space in the NBA. In Europe, you got everybody sitting there and like and the high levels in Europe, you dealing with the same type of bodies. Like, of course, they're a little bit bigger in the NBA, more athletic in the NBA, but in Europe, they're big and they're athletic too.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the reason why I feel like a lot of guys would always say it's tougher to score in Europe than NBA.
Before we get into one of my last questions, who have you been most compared to from your college days to now?
Mm, that's a good question. A lot of people say Jerome Randall. I heard that before. I don't know if you know who that is. Jerome Randall played at Cal. Um, some people would say like kind of like a like Kemba Walker, Shabazz Napier type, them like UConn guards. I think Ryan Boatwright. People will say that sometimes. Yeah, those types of players I think always come to mind. I think over the recent years I've been able to develop my pick and roll game. So it kind of changed me a little bit where I've been
Mm-hmm.
able to be a passer. And yeah, I think but like a lot of times people those names pop up.
Like I said earlier, I searched up your name on YouTube. There's like a 35-minute highlight reel of all of your stuff from your season at Oldenburg. So I
Yeah.
watched the entire thing. And like I said, the step back you have, that step back at least reminds me a little bit of like Washington Isaiah Thomas in a
Yeah,
lot
people
of
say
ways because you're a smaller guard too. But your quickness, it seems like you're so crafty in how you're able to, use your hesitation, especially against these, like you're saying, these bigger, more athletic guys. But what has gone into your development from you going from an 11-point per game score in 2022 to a 20-point, 8 assists per game player in Germany this season?
I think the pick and roll. Like one, I'm in a different system now where it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot more up pace, so it kind of favors my play style a little bit better. But in Europe, it's the pick and roll. I've been able to understand the coverages and then understand the passing techniques and me being able to make those type of passes opens up the floor a little bit more for me. So now I'm able to do the things I've been good at my entire life, and it's more opportunities to do those things. Like, coming off using my eyes looking this way and they kind of like shift a little bit, one dribble pull up. I've been making that since I was like 12 years old. You know, or like, I'm coming off a pick and roll, they try to switch it. Now I got a slower defender on me and he's backing up. I'm shooting a step back that I've been shooting since I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those types of things I've been able to like manipulate the game a little bit better to where I can be a little bit more efficient and then get to my spots better. So I think that's been the biggest thing is like understanding the game a lot better and being able to put myself in positions where I can be successful.
Before I let you go, I got two last questions for you. Um, I watched the clip you collabed a couple of days ago on the nicknames. You said everyone in your family has a
Uh,
nickname. Where did you get yours from?
so I really don't know. I know my favorite rapper is Lil Wayne. It's always been Lil Wayne, and I think that's why like it came like with it because Lil Wayne was Weezy,
Mm-hmm.
and but like I really don't know. And also too, my mom said something to me because she seen that clip the other day, and she said something about like my name kind of resembles Weezy in a way if you look at it a certain way or something like that. But yeah, I think that has something to do with it. But like I said, everybody in my family has nicknames, so it's inevitable. Like if you was to come to a family cookout right now, you'll have a nickname. You know what I'm saying? It's just one. We just do that. Like you'll come in there with some blue pants. You'll be, oh yeah, blue pants. Yeah, yeah. What's up? That's just how we do. So yeah.
My last question for you. I ask every player that I have on, what's the favorite on court shoe right now? What's going to be the rotation when you go back to Germany this upcoming season? But yeah, what's the go-to shoe right now? And what was it last year too?
Last year it was the PGs. I think they're Paul George 6. Like they
Okay.
was just cool. I had the what those. I had like every color. And this year, honestly, I can't even lie. I'm waiting for the new KDs to come out.
The on
I like the
pearls?
way they have the on pearls come out. They have the on pearls come out every year, but I
Yeah.
think they're K16. I think it's a 16 shoe. And the way
Yeah,
they
16 or
look,
17.
17, they look really comfortable. So I'm waiting on those to come out. But I think those are going to be. I think those are going to be the ones I'm going to wear all year. I'm older now, so like I got to wear the same shoe. I can't be switching it up. You know what I mean? My feet bad. I got plantar fasciitis, all types of stuff.
Well, Dewayne, I appreciate you coming on and being the first guest on the Off the Court podcast. But yeah, anything to shout out before we get out of here?
Nah, man. I just want to. First of all, I want to thank my boy P for letting me use his office to do this interview. I got to give. But
Shout
nah,
out.
man. I appreciate you having me, bro. It was dope.
Yeah, man. Well, wish you nothing but the best of luck. I'm gonna have to get one of those GCU basketball shirts soon.
Nah, bro, I got especially you told me you come to Midnight Madness. I got a lot of gear for you.
Okay, perfect. I'll hit you when that happens if you're going to be there, and we'll definitely link up. But man, I appreciate you coming on. I'm excited to watch you play in Germany this year, and man, wishing nothing but the best of luck.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro.